I'd like to present Clark a bit to you. Who are we, where we're coming from, and maybe what's on the agenda, what's next. Who are we? I think the most important thing about 2023 for us was we turned this company profitable. Full year profitable. I have to be very precise because there are very creative ways of calling a company profitable. So we're full year EBITDA profitable, to be very precise. We grew still by roughly 40% to 135 million revenues. We are currently in 5 countries. It's a bit of a coincidental selection of countries. We started in Germany. Germany is still the most mature and biggest market. And then we did a significant acquisition 2 years ago, and the 4 countries that you see here, the UK, Switzerland, France, and Netherlands, joined the group from Finanzen, and we're currently rolling out our business model to these companies. We're roughly 2 million customers. I'll get a bit in the details what we call a customer. We basically work together with every insurer in Europe. You might find a handful which we don't work with, but in general work with everyone. And I think what is important to our model, besides the fact that we're purely digital, we are, from a sales perspective, we're extremely efficient. And if you look a bit in the numbers of insurance, that's super important to get that piece right, because that's what's eating up most of your margin in the sales part. And we just talked about it, how big is our market? We have, and that's purely retail in Europe, we have a TAM of 70 million, and that is growing. It's growing by the underlying revenue of insurance companies, and we get a share of that. So it's a very healthy market. It's growing for the last, 50 years, and it will continue to grow. And also inflation for us is more a positive than a negative. I think we're one of the few beneficiaries of inflation. How do we define our business? What are we doing? We're doing only insurance, and we're doing only retail insurance. So we have specialized in that field because of because of 2 reasons. The first reason is it's already big enough and complex enough, because we're doing all products in that field. So we're doing life insurance, we're doing health insurance, we're doing all sorts of P&C insurance. So it's a vast majority of products already. And we strongly believe it's currently, unfortunately, the only piece of the insurance market which you can actually digitize. All the SME players, all the industrial players, all the players that went for larger chunks of business are already out of business again, and that's not their fault. It's the underlying product is too complex, and the insurer is not interested in helping you simplify it. So there's basically no chance to digitize that piece of the value chain. So we're purely private, and our focus is brokerage. So a lot of our former competitors started very similar to us. So there were a lot of small or bigger Clarks 5 years ago. All of them decided to go and set up their own insurance carrier. And Clark was the only one who didn't do that. And back then it was, I think, I was not there, but it was first of all the right decision to do and a very brave decision to do. Because back then setting up an insurer would give you additional margin, and for basically free money, that additional margin also came for free. Yet now money is not free anymore, and that very small margin that you get with an insurer is completely eaten up by the additional capital that you need and by the additional regulatory requirements that you need to fulfill. So we don't have a carrier. We only do distribution, and therefore we have different regulation and, most importantly, different capital requirements. So we need a lot less capital than carriers would need. And we're in Europe. I had a conversation outside if the US or other markets would be interesting for us. Yes, they all would be interesting for us. There's no real major difference why we couldn't go anywhere else. Yet the EU is big enough, and yet the EU or Europe, I would call UK part of Europe, so it's not only the EU, it's Europe, still has more common ground when it comes to insurance. So for example, the US is not one insurance market, it's 50 insurance markets, because every state does its own regulation on insurance. So you don't go to the USA, you go to California or you go to New York. So for us, Europe is the playground and will stay the playground for quite some time. A bit of history, I'll go through that very quickly. Founded 2015 as a German company, basically same business model. We didn't change much in the process. First couple of financing rounds. Major point was buying Finanzen Group in 2021, Europe's largest lead platform, and that's by now one of our differentiators. So we have basically a very professional lead platform in-house. So we produce between 1 and 1.5 million leads every year on a very grown and very established platform, and that basically helps us on customer acquisition and then, of course, throughout the entire profitability of the business. The business model that I talked about and which I will show you in a minute is live in 3 countries, in Germany, UK, and Switzerland. And in Netherlands and France, we are still a lead platform where we sell those leads externally. So we create the leads and sell them externally. Next step will be also there to roll out our business and in-house those leads. So we're basically in-housing the margin that brokers do with our leads. And that's on the agenda for 2025. 2024 is exactly that rollout in Switzerland and the UK. What's the goal? And I've been in insurance for many years now, so I come from a traditional insurance company. If you look at Europe today, there is no single digital insurance player. It just doesn't exist. There are a couple of players in different countries. The UK is actually a good example where you have 4 or 5 big digital players. In Germany, you have 1. But there's no real player, the ones that you see on the bottom, and that's clearly our goal. And there's no reason why that shouldn't exist in insurance, and we're strongly convinced that this will be a digital player combined with human interaction on the phone. So what are we? At the end, we're an app-based insurance broker, so legally nothing thrilling, an insurance broker, where you can handle all of your insurance needs and all of your customer journeys within the insurance landscape. So basically, you download the app, we'll ask you a couple of questions, your life situation, your age, your income, all of that, and we'll give you a proposal on what we believe your insurance needs are. Also fairly individualized, yet I think if you don't need a lot of data points to come up with this. We have a proposal on the products that you need. You can buy all of those products with us, either purely digital, so all P&C products, motor, liability, all the simple ones, purely digital. And if it gets more complex, we have people on the phone supporting you, where I think one of the big differentiators is with us. And then we want to have you all along the way, the entire lifetime, so you can do all service, all claims in the insurance business. And I think this is very important. Our customer journey, so the sale, is actually the easiest part. Yeah? Most e-commerce players, the sale is the most important piece. For us, of course, financially that is important, but to keep you for a very long time, that's even more important to us. Last but not least, what's our value? We want to have all of your insurances in our app, and then we can create value for you because we can compare, and we want to do that lifelong with you and be the trusted partner. Thanks for waking up with me on an insurance dry topic, and I wish you a good rest of the day. Thank you.